Hi everybody, I'm back, and this is the part 2 of the series, Why Are Heyokas and Empaths Vital Now? And you really need to, just saying, get part 1 or you'll be completely lost in part 2, but so here goes. Hi everybody! Okay, I just need to get that out of the way. Fuck, I miss you guys. Okay. So what we were saying in the last video is we were talking about your coming out with your one-of-a-kind power and essence that has traveled many lifetimes, and the guilt that is keeping you attached to certain people and resistance with cutting them off, and or substances or habits that are keeping you in that low, denser energy of like apathy and or maybe down or seeing the world a certain way, not quite sure because your balls are deflated. It's all that going on. And so I'm going to reinstate, and it's very important you understand that guilt part. So like seriously, man, go check. Number 1. Wouldn't want to deprive you. Here's how this is going to roll. You need to understand you are the chosen ones. You are. You're the elites. And as I mentioned, spiritual royalty. You just are. But you must take that walk, journey, whatever, after you cut off these people, entities, associations, jobs, and things like that, or painful situation that'll make it a lot easier for you to get the boot. You must take that journey, that walk alone. And it could take up to a year or 2. And the reason why that's so critical, and you're lucky it's only a year or 2, because if you were back in like the Moses days, it would be fucking 40 years to die off the old self. Right now, that year or 2 where you're alone in your journey, where no one's been there for you, in that dark, dark time, where you're just like waiting to fucking die. You don't know what to do, and there's no one, and you really have to come to face with, am I worth it to fucking fight for a life? Do I fight for my life? Well, guess what? At that point, it becomes your life. And that's the time you make a decision. I'm fighting for my life. I no longer need anybody else to confirm to me all that is for me. It's a real nice, sweet spot. And so, fortunately, you're not back with Moses, where it took him, again, 40 years to have the old generation die off. We're talking a year, we're talking 2 maxes. It does take about 2 years to get rid of the memories that are now in your cells, of the other person, of the pain. And in your walk alone on your journey, you're not just going to be closed off. You're going to be closed off to people who no longer serve you, but that pain will make you reach out to nature. You will be humbled in the drop of things about life and nature and animals that bring joy to a crumbled heart, and will feed it all over again. Only you're being nourished this time with your own frequency, with the universe's untainted high vibrational frequency. And so it will breathe new life as the old part of you dies. Or I should rather say, all the energies attached to you from those associations, people, family, and whatever, job and whatever, they die off you. And at that point, once that's withered away, that shiny, lit, untainted ass of yours is born. Untouchable, unbreakable, and unshakable. It's very important that you dive deep to collect those 3 gems. That is your birthright. So literally you're going like from caterpillar to phoenix in a second. It'll seem like a second. You can't have that shit in your system and be fully lit. You just can't. You can't be energetically constipated. Could explain why you have that look on your face every now and then though. Don't be a product of this chaos and disturbance that's going on right now, because you are gold and everyone will want a piece of that once you get the rubble off from you. When someone if someone appears around you that's hurtful, it's an exam. Crush it. Crush it. Like literally, it's an exam. Don't feel bad that the majority of the world is suffering in their mentality. This is your moment. You need to step up. You need to step on your throne. You need to have that majestic energy in order for that throne to appear. This is your time. You are called because you are needed. No one can do what you do. No one. No one. And don't get all emotionally constipated. Clear your shit. Clear things keeping you like shit. And just step up. And that's also why, and this is really, really important. This is why a lot of you know the things about you that are super hot or awesome or great, but you have resistance to it. Like, you kind of silently know it inside, but you don't want to say it. And that's because the overlay of the guilt, explained in the last video, is what is tampering with that. And I'll explain it this way. Where there is shame, which is a byproduct of guilt, you can't feel or take in or admit a great trait, something you were born with, a look, an image, a regal bearing. You can't take it in because it would have to come from the ego to admit it, because your insides are not whole. They're damaged. So you can't feel that internally in your heart. So that's why you know it's there, whether you're hot or you're amazing or you're fucking talented as fuck. But you have to admit it from your mind, because internally your feelings, you don't feel whole. You don't feel that. And when you feel it from your mind, it comes off as egocentric. And so it comes off that way when you speak it. It's with that tone, it's with that vibration. And that's why, being sensitive as you are, you're aware that you will come across conceited or full with yourself and shit like that. When you can admit your ace in the back pocket without feeling conceited, because it's wholesome and it's organic, it's not from your mind, it's like, it's who you are. It's who you are, man. And it's beautiful. At that point, when you can admit it without thinking it's conceited and having that tinge of conceit or egocentricity in there with it, that will mean that that hollowness inside you is filled up and lit. You think the sun's fucking bashful? I don't know if that's the word. One of the dwarfs, wasn't that bad? Whatever. You think the sun is fucking like, you know, I'm just going to dim my light just a bit. Like, I've been bright like fucking 5 days straight. Fuck no. No. It just gets brighter. And you can only speak it, be it, convey it in a way that people are not going to see it or feel it as conceited, because you don't. It doesn't mean that they won't be annoyed. It doesn't mean that they won't be jealous, of course, but it's coming from a different place. So if it's not that way right now for you, if you're having trouble admitting your shit or where you rock or spill it or whatever, your frequency has been tainted. And if you need a frequency hit with someone who matches yours or supersedes yours, come with me for 15, 20 minutes, and I will give you a frequency hit, because it's very different interacting with people way below where you're at. And it's very different when you're face to face with someone where you're at or above where you're at, because that jars everything back into place. The symphony is now tuned. Just think of me as your tuner. Because I'm telling you again, dealing with people daily, you tap into their shit, they start mixing with your stuff, your stuff is leaking into them. You don't even know their stuff is leaking into yours. And, well, it's not the major jolt you would get with someone who's a match. And just think of me as your energetic bodyguard. But for all those of you, again, think back. Where is it that you have an issue talking about how special you are? Different, but different, not in a weird negative way. Fucking different. You feel me? Bye for now. I'll see you soon.